Mabuhay everyone, MARKCHES here. Welcome to the channel. And for today's video, I'll be giving my performance review of the brand new GT Cut 2 and how it compares to the first version. Let's go. Guys, if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, guys, please support this channel by liking this video and of course pressing that subscribe button down below, right about here. So here is my performance review of this awesome sneaker, and if you have been following my channel, you know how I love the first version, which is the GT Cut 1, and this actually was not a really hype sneaker at first because no one was really taking notice of this until all the reviewers of basketball sneakers raved about the GT Cut 1 and how it performs, how it felt on foot, and a lot of NBA players were wearing them during last season. So this became a hype pair. All colorways were sold out and the prices on the ones was really high. And this recently came out. This colorway was the first one, this black gray colorway, and the second colorway was the white with red and blue. It's kind of like a USA colorway. Actually, this colorway is direct descendant of my first colorway. They have a similar color blocking, which is of course is orange, is red orange, and this part is also red orange, which you can see on the first version here. So let us talk about how the Cut 2 performs. I've been playing with this for a week already. So let us first talk about the upper of the Cut 2, which is completely different upper from the first one. The Cut 2 has this screen mesh type of upper from the forefoot to the heel part of the sneaker. And the screen mesh is backed by an underlining fabric, which gives a screen mesh on this extra support laterally and extra durability to the sneaker. And as you can see, this front part, this gray area is harder compared to the top part of the forefoot. So this will give you extra durability and lateral support to the Cut 2s. And in terms of lateral support, it was good. The upper contained my foot really well, laterally especially. But that's what I'm kind of missing on the Cut 1s, on the Cut 2s. I just wish that they retained this plastic piece here on the Cut 1, which really contained my foot on the Cut 1s, which I felt really responsive on the Cut 1s. Although on the Cut 2s, even though it doesn't have that, it still is very responsive. But I like the feeling that there's a piece here on the lateral part of my forefoot that's really holding my foot. I felt more confident on my lateral moves on the Cut 1s compared to the Cut 2s, but the Cut 2 is still very good in that aspect. I just wish that they made this foam go up higher and kinda mimicking the first one on that aspect, and gives you extra caging on the lateral part of the Cut 2s. But it's still pretty good in my opinion. But one thing that they improve on the Cut 2s is the ventilation of the upper of the Cut 2, which on the Cut 1s, although it has this screen mesh upper on this side, as you can see the holes here, but the underlining fabric is a little bit thicker and it's a little bit warmer around your foot, especially this material on top of the one, where you can see this padded foam, which in terms of aesthetics, I like how the ones looks better compared to the 2s. Let's get that out of the way. A lot of you have been asking which one looks better. In my opinion, I like the aesthetics of the ones, the design of the ones, way better compared to the Cut 2s. But in terms of performance, the ventilation on the upper of the 2s are a little bit better. It's thinner and it's a lot softer. Plus the shape around the toe area going to the midfoot, it has more room on the 2s compared to the 1s, while on the 1s it's more snug. As you can see the shape here, especially around the height of the upper, it's really trimmed down on this upper, and it really made the one look sexier compared to the 2s, which looks bulkier. But this one will fit more foot shapes in my opinion. But if you are someone who has a narrow foot or just about regular foot, you will like the ones better. But if you have a wide foot or you have a thick foot, you will like the 2s a lot more. Both have traditional lacing system, But what's nice about the two lacing system is this kind of like a fast lacing system that can be found in the Jordan 11s. So it's easier to pull the laces on the twos. You just pull it up here. You don't need to go layer by layer by tightening the laces on the twos. But what's nice about the ones in that aspect is on the twos, I kind of find myself relacing my shoes during halftime to just tightening up the sneaker a little bit more. I think one of the reasons there is the two has a flat lace compared to the more premium looking laces on the ones, which is a thick lace, and I like the materials on the laces on the ones a little bit more. And when you really tighten up the one, it doesn't loosen up, and it's kind of hard to loosen up the ones. You have to go layer by layer when you're loosening it and when you're tightening it even, compared to the twos, which you can easily just pull up here and it will tighten the entire thing. It really depends on your preference. Maybe I'll try a different set of laces for my two, and let's see if it will loosen up, because this one, although it's not that cheap, but I like the laces more on the ones. As for the tongue part, both are very nicely padded, but I like the design more on the ones because it's kind of like a laser cut tongue compared to the twos, which is a little bit more flimsier. It has some perforations on the tongue of the twos compared to the ones which doesn't have any perforations for ventilation around the mid part of the tongue. On the twos, you can see the holes here around the mid part and in the forefoot part. So the twos really gives more ventilation compared to the one. And of course, the space around the midfoot is a little bit wider compared to the one which is more snug. The cut around the ankle is quite similar. I would say they're pretty much the same. The padding around the heel and the Achilles pillows are pretty much the same. Both are very nicely padded. Heel containment and lockdown are pretty much the same on both sneakers. I didn't have any heel slippage, and the main difference around the heel on both is the materials being used around the heel, which a lot of people, if there's one thing that they didn't like about the ones, is it's a little bit heavier around the heel because of the materials being used here, because it has a thick rubber foam here and the plastic piece too, which makes the version 1 a bit heavier around the heel. So it's heel heavy on the ones because of the materials being used around the heel. Even the traction is thicker. You can see how the traction goes up here, and it's thicker compared to the twos, which uses a different kind of material here. It's also made out of plastic, but it's thinner, it's softer, and when you're looking up close, the materials are lighter and the foam is a little bit thinner around the heel too, and the traction doesn't go up here around the heel. So that's another nice thing about the two, is it lets the foam compress more around the heel part of the twos compared to the one, which is a little bit more enclosed around the middle part. You can see it really enclosed here, and the foam is just exposed around the lateral part of the heel. So heel wise, you can really feel how lighter the heel of the twos are compared to the ones. Now let's get into the tech of these two sneakers, which of course is the drop in insole and midsole. So it's a combination of insole and midsole. This is on the ones, while this is on the twos. So the major difference is, as you can see here, there's a black fabric on top of the twos, which is one of my gripes on the ones, because it was kind of hard to put your foot in on the ones because your socks kind of have that friction on the insole, and most of the time cramples your socks, and you kind of have that discomfort feeling that your socks is curled up around some part of your forefoot, which when you're running you can feel that, and it's kind of pinching your foot. So that will really give you discomfort. While they kind of fix that on the twos, they put a fabric here, so the friction on your foot and the insole is not that much. But one of my subscribers told me that a quick fix on the ones is put the tape maybe a kinesio tape here or those ankle wrap tapes. Just put it there so that it will lessen the friction from your foot and the insole of the ones. Another difference that I observe between the two is the sidewall around the lateral part of the forefoot. The twos are a little bit higher. I think it's made that way to compensate the lack of this plastic piece on the ones. So they made the sidewall of this React carrier a little bit higher compared to the one, which is way lower there around the forefoot part of the insole of the one. And as for the shape, they're pretty much the same. But when I'm pressing the React foam between these two, it feels like around the ball of your foot. The twos are a little bit thicker around that area. And I'm not too sure if this measurement around, if you can see here, it's 245 here on the one. And on the twos is 249. It's way up here. So I don't know if that's the thickness of the React foam in those area by millimeter. And even the 62 here on the ones too, and on the twos, I saw it to be 69. And when you are pressing around the forefoot part, you kind of feel that the React foam on the twos are a little bit thicker compared to the ones. And one more thing that I think is an upgrade on the insole, midsole of the React foam on this two is they switch out the hex zoom unit on the twos to be just below here on your React foam compared to the one, which is not here, but it's below the full length zoom straddle of the ones, which the full length straddle, then right below it is a hex zoom unit. And the thing that makes it different is you can feel a little bit more impact protection on the twos compared to the one, because you can immediately feel this hex zoom unit before it touches the full length zoom straddle, which I think is a really nice thing. And that's what I observed. There's more impact protection on the twos compared to the ones. The one you really feel really low to the ground compared to the twos, but the twos is a little bit, just a tad bit higher or thicker, but still the responsiveness is still there, like the ones that you're feeling on the ones. But the impact protection is really nice. That's why I really think that's an improvement from the ones. There's more impact protection, at the same time bounciness is still there. Overall card feel on the twos is still very, very good. And I actually tried wearing the two sneakers without the insole, and while I was walking around the studio, I could also feel that the foam below the twos is a little bit thicker compared to the ones. And I think one of the factors there is the traction, or the depth of the traction on the twos is deeper compared to the traction depth on the one. So there's more area or more space when you're landing your foot on the forefoot. So it kind of gives you more impact protection. There's more foam, the treads are thicker, so it's kind of thicker around the forefoot, giving you better impact protection on the cut twos. Even on the heel, the depth traction on the twos are a little bit thicker compared to the ones. But as for the PSI on both full length zoom straddle, I think they're pretty much the same. They're very bouncy. They're both very bouncy, and they give very nice impact protection. As for the traction on these two sneakers, like I've said, the twos has a deeper depth in the traction compared to the ones. But in terms of grip, if you want your traction to be squeakier and you want the traction to grip a bit harder, the cut one kind of grips a bit harder compared to the twos. Although the twos, even though it doesn't squeak, the twos traction, it's still good, but it doesn't squeak that much. You really need to slide your foot to really feel the squeak on the twos. The last time that I played with this, it's still the same squeak that I got from the first time that I used the twos. So in terms of squeakiness, you won't be getting that much on the twos, but the grip is still good, but it's not as gnarly as the grip that you'll be getting out of the ones, but still pretty good. I'm not sliding on the twos. It still grips on different kinds of floor. I played with this on a very clean court, on a dusty floor, and a kind of moist floor. I wasn't sliding on the traction on the twos. Another nice thing about the twos traction, like I said, tread depth is deeper, so it's more durable, while on the ones, the depth of the traction is shallower compared to the twos, so it's more prone to flatten out compared to the twos. both doesn't have a TPU plate in the middle because you can really bend this. This doesn't have any plate on the twos, even on the ones. You can really bend the ones. But in terms of torsional support, you won't feel that extra spring back that you will feel, especially on the Luca ones. Especially when you're twisting your foot, you really feel on the Lucas that it's giving you the spring back or giving you that fast balance and stability on the Lucas. I think the cut 1 and the cut 2s are really made for players who likes to drive a lot and do a lot of twisting and a lot of sidestepping to the basket. The GT Cut 2 is really made for those types of players. Now, as for the weight of the sneaker, the Cut 2 is 430, while the Cut 1 with insole is 480. So the Cut 2 is way lighter compared to the Cut 1 by 50 grams, mainly because of the upper. This is lighter, this is thinner, and of course the heel plastic, there's less plastic here. There's a thinner plastic that's being used on the Cut 2s, so that really made the Cut 2s lighter to the Cut 1s. As for the price, SRP on the Cut 2 is the same with the Cut 1. It's 9,200 pesos here in the Philippines, so that's around 190 US dollars, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So this is really selling like hotcakes. Here in the Philippines, it was released in Nike.com, and right about just 1 minute, it was sold out. I think it was attacked by bots already. Actually, if you haven't watched my initial impression on the Cut 2s, the Cut 2s, I bought it on resale. I had to pay extra $60, around 3,000 pesos, to be able to get my pair. So kind of sucks, but that's how it is right now. If there's a hype sneaker or a hot sneaker, it's pretty much guaranteed that it will be sold out and it will be resold. So let me know what you think about the GT Cut 2. Do you like them? Do you like how it performs if you have played with them? Me personally, like I said, in terms of design, I like the design or the aesthetics on the Cut 1s way more compared to the Cut 2s. But in terms of performance, I like the improvements on the thickness of the cushioning of the React, the weight of the React 2s too. I like it that it's lighter compared to the ones. But what I miss about the ones is the traction or the squeakiness of the traction. This lateral piece here in the forefoot on the ones, that's what I missed on the ones. But I think overall in terms of performance, I think the 2s is an improved version of the ones. So that's it on my performance review of the GT Cut 2. I hope I help you guys out. This has been MARKCHES once again. Thank you for dropping by. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.